This is a tough one for me. I always tell people I value openness and I value honesty and I value vulnerability. And I'm about to get really open and honest and vulnerable with you all. Did you blow your budget? And I can tell you right now, I blew my budget big time. Hi, I'm Megan with Bethel Budgets, and I'm here because it is more than just math. At some point, you've probably built a budget, you've laid out your expenses, you've laid out your income, and then life happened and your budget didn't work out. And the reason is because it's more than just math. And that's why I'm here. I don't want you to give up. We can figure this out together. You've got this. So, today's video, I'm going to be working on closing out my January budget. This is a really important step when you're budgeting. This is part of the life that happens. So when life happens, we think, "Oh, I blew my budget last month and I'm just going to start over next month." Well, when that happens and because life happens all the time and things get out of control all the time, you're never going to build a budget that you stick with. You're just going to constantly start over or you're just going to give up. So it's really important part of the process. It's essential to actually look at the life that happened last month and look at what happened, why did it happen, what can I do about it, how can I plan better for that event next year? Could I have planned for it? Was it an emergency? Do I need a bigger emergency fund? Is it a sinking fund issue? What can I do about this event that happened? Um, and even the best of us have life that happens and we blow our budgets. And actually, this video is a tough one for me. Uh, this I had to pray really hard about this video today because as a person that helps people with their budgets all the time, um, this is a tough one for me. I always tell people I value openness and I value honesty and I value vulnerability. And I'm about to get really open and honest and vulnerable with you all because we had a lot of life happen at the end of December and the beginning of January. And I, as much as I plan for it, and as much as I plan ahead, as much as I budget, there was just no way we could plan for it. So, my husband has a new job. He started a new business, and if he doesn't work, he doesn't get paid. And this is a new thing for us. I mean, we've been salary for a long time, so it's kind of scary, And I know a lot of people are in that position, but we've been working to save like a vacation fund for him. So if he gets sick or has to take time off work, but this is all new, so we didn't have that yet. And so he took a week off between Christmas and New Year, so we lost income there, but we made that decision together, so that was okay. But then my son had surgery, an emergency surgery, unexpected. And then 4 days later, I had a surgery, and again, unexpected. So then he had to take another week off and to take care of me and my son and all of that healing. And with that comes just chaos. So, I was already not doing well. I said this in my last video with meal planning and things like that, but any meal planning that I was doing was out the window. I wasn't cooking. So then he cooks, and while he's excellent at cooking, I mean, he'll do the sous vide and he grills and he does all these things. It becomes a matter of he's doing everything. And so it's convenience foods and it's dining out more than we usually do. So we had a loss of income, we had a rise of expenses, and then we still have this commingling of he's starting a business, and while we were trying to separate his, we got him his own account. I talked about this in the last video. We got him his own business account, but still some things were mixed in with our personal account. So it's all blown up. My January is terrible, so there's always three things at the end of a closeout that you want to look at where you under budget. Congratulations, transfer some money to savings, pay off some debt. What are you going to do with it? Um, you're either right on budget, good job, that's awesome, you're great. But now think ahead, okay, is there a spot where you could cut your spending and put more into savings or pay off some debt? Is there another source of income that you get to put some money into savings or pay off some debt? Or the third option, which I'm afraid you're going to see that I fell into this month, is did you blow your budget? And I can tell you right now, I blew my budget big time. So let's get into this. I normally am a paper and pencil kind of girl, which means I use my Remarkable for everything, which there's a link for in the description. But for this, it is more convenient to use a spreadsheet because it does all the math for you. So I'm going to switch screens um, so you can see all of that. So give me a second. Okay, I think I have the screens all switched over now. So what this is right here, this is the digital version of my budget planner that I use on my Remarkable. So it's the it's the Excel spreadsheet that I use just on paper. It's actually a Google sheet, which I'm working on getting these uploaded and for sale. So bear with me. I'm trying really hard. So this is just everything that you saw me writing down in my on my Remarkable on my planner is just on it's the same exact spreadsheet. This was for the month of January, and you can see it's labeled down here instead of filling it in here. So that's January. Um, Now, what I do daily is I come over to my Every Dollar. It's the app that is connected to my bank account and my credit card that tracks all of my transactions. It says January because I was about to close out my January. So, real quick, I'm going to go over to my February because I can't stand to have unaccounted for transactions here. So now all of my transactions are done. I feel better. I can go close out January. And I'll show you, like I said, I'll show you again another day how I go about using every dollar. So I've got my planned amounts. This is exactly what I used the other day when I was showing you my February budget, but this is January. So here was my check. So here was my planned amount, 24.24. Here's my received amount, 25.30.94. So I'm going to type that in, 25.30.94, and hit enter. And you can see this was more than I planned for, so it turned green with the difference. So that's why I do this in the spreadsheet. I don't have to get my calculator out. I don't have to have multicolored pens. It's just much, much faster. So I'm going to go ahead and enter these amounts and I will get right back to you. You can see we came in short on the income. So already we're in a little bit of trouble there. Okay, we're going to move down to the giving. So these are the favorites. So I'm going to skip that so we go in order. So giving, like I said, we tithe off the actuals. So that was only 63.84. So what that is, whenever we're sitting in church, I look at the paycheck and then I tithe off the actual paycheck amount. So again, that turned green because we have a little extra there. Okay, we're going to move down to, okay, savings. I didn't put anything in yet. Housing. Okay, so water, sewer, trash, 204.86. I'm going to enter these numbers and I'll get back with you. So for housing, we saved a whole bunch of money. The electricity didn't get paid again because that has been creeping into the next month. So it was like for months it was on the 28th and then it was the 29th and then it's just slowly creeped into it's the third of the month today and it still hasn't been paid. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I'm tired of that kind of being into the next month. So I'm just going to call that one as a February expense and we'll do that for February. And our internet is so low. I'm still been budgeting off of the old amount, but we have in our area, we have a grant for, I can't remember what it's for, but there's a grant for internet coverage right now. And so we've been taking advantage of that. And so that's why that number is so low. Okay, moving down to food. This is one of the categories I said we would be over on. So um, we budget 1,200, we spent 1,700. Family dining out, we were under because we were so sick we couldn't really go out. Date night, again, we couldn't go out. Fellowship, I'm not sure what happened there. My husband had a conference, so he had a lot of extra dining out that, again, we're trying to watch that category and see what we need to do about it, whether we need to create another um, line item, whether we need to add more to fellowship, whether we need to just really put a kibosh on some of our spending. So we're just keeping an eye on that for now. So again, that's another category we're over in. Gas, we have not actually hit that number in months. So we're going to examine that in for March. Car wash, I don't know why, but my husband went and got a cheaper car wash, which is fine because it saved us some money. Let's see. This is another one. So these were unplanned for expenses that came out of this account instead of his account. His account. So we have to transfer some money for that. Um, phone, shopping, we went way over. Hair and cosmetics, under budget on that one. And birthdays again. So birthdays wasn't really just birthdays. We had three friends have babies in December. So I really probably should have budgeted more for that. I just was not thinking about it. Um, I mean, December and January. Okay, let's see. So went way over it. Childcare. What did I do? Okay, mosquito squad was 0 because that's a seasonal thing and we're not there yet. Education, we went a little over because one of those days we had like, I was recovering from surgery and things were a mess. And so we just told the kids, buy lunch. We didn't make lunches. And then unplanned, I'm really proud of us. Unplanned is usually that category that is just anything bad that happens, anything unplanned goes in that category, and it's one of the things we bring up in our budget meeting that we talk about and we create a plan for. Once it lands in unplanned, we have to have a plan for it. This $29.99 is actually a subscription fee that I have a sinking fund for, but the sinking fund was only for $18. So I put it in unplanned to cue us to talk about it. It's not like this was an actual like budget buster item, but this cued us to talk about it like, okay, this subscription almost doubled. Are we using this? Do we want to continue this? Is it time to cancel this? Should I up the sinking fund for next year? What do we want to do? So that's why that's an unplanned. It wasn't actually that bad, but $29.99 in an unplanned sinking fund or an unplanned category, that is really good for us. I'm really, really, really happy with that. So the gym, my husband joined a new gym. There are two transactions under this gym, and one is fees and one is the actual amount. So I'm not real sure which is which, but he joined a different gym than what I thought he was going to join. So we actually saved some money there. Supplements, I usually do 250 and we went over. We My daughter got put on a new supplement for her stuff, and then both my daughter and I went to the doctor this month. And then counseling, we ended up having to cancel. So we saved some money there. That's good. Um, I guess when you have surgery and have to cancel your counseling, that saves you some money. So our mortgage and our car payment, didn't put anything toward. At the time, I didn't have any debt. I don't have any credit card debt. Um, we did pay off our car, medical debt, I didn't have any in January. Do now. Health insurance or life insurance, car insurance. At car insurance, you save money when you do that 6 months or a year. So we do all of that through sinking funds. So spouse spending, he got 50 to spend and he spent 72.33. Again, this is a new category. He's got to figure out, nope, 72 is not close to 50. When you get 50, you can spend 50. The kids' income. So my kids each get an income. When they turn 10, they get $10 a month and they get a Chromebook. And their first job is to save an emergency fund that's enough to replace their Chromebook. They also save for things that they want, like a pack of Pokemon cards or a new phone eventually. And they're saving for cars and things like that, vacation funds, and for souvenirs. Not that I make them pay for their vacations, but for souvenirs, things like that. Transfers, I didn't plan for anything, but we use 15/15 of our transfers, which comes directly from savings. So that transfers over. So we started with a zero-based budget, which is perfect, right on budget. Congratulations. Now, how we did in the end is not so good. I'm going to make this big so you can see it better. When you figure out how you did this month, so there's your actual income, there's your actual expenses. You have three categories. You either have extra cash, which is awesome, send it into savings or pay off some debt. You're right on budget. That's awesome too. You did great with your planning, but could you do better? Could you cut costs somewhere and put something into savings or debt digging? Or did you do like I did and you overspent? Now, this number makes me want to have a heart attack, but I know that some of that is from this, which I already transfer over from savings. So I'm going to, in order to do the math and show you, I'm going to delete that number for now. So if you're thinking, hold on, Megan, what did you just delete? I wish I had done a better job of explaining this right here, but I'm going to explain it now. So that transfers line item is my lump sums. So as I'm spending money in my lump sum categories, I'm putting them into my transfers. And then I'm taking the money out of my lump sum savings and transferring it back over to my checking to pay for those bills. So if, for example, we had our car insurance was $683. So while I didn't have anything in that transfers line item, I had to pay my car insurance, which was $683. So that I put under transfers. And then at the end of the month, I transfer that money over from my savings into my checking to pay for that. So that's what the transfers is. It has to do with my lump sums. It's not magic money. I didn't just delete that. It has a purpose, but I just didn't do a great job of explaining it. That's why I deleted it, because it doesn't truly count against us. It is money that I account for. It is money that I have and that I do already transfer over. So it doesn't really affect that ended balance. This is the number that I actually overspent. So some of that is because we had lowered our income. Some of that is because we overspent. Another so now I got to figure out, how am I going to make up that difference? I can't just sit there. I can't live like that. If I was living on my credit cards, then I'd be in debt and then I'd be having interest payments to make up for that. So now I got to figure out, what am I going to do with that $1,500? How am I going to replenish that? So I went ahead and looked at some things to figure out. So I've got this $1,500 here. Oops. Okay. I have in my sinking funds, we were saving up to buy half a cow. So I had just met that sinking fund and we were going to do that at the end of February. So perhaps we just don't do that. And that is $17.56. That's how much I saved up for it. If I sum that together, I can still save up. I'll be 205 for the next round for the cow. So I can do that. Um, I also have in my lump sum, I was saving up for a spa day in April. I can take some of that money. Maybe I get a quarter of a cow and I don't go to the spa. Maybe I also applied for some um, refunds from my insurance company for some medical claims that I had. So I got those in, and that's $700. So I can maybe between the refunds and the spa day, if I don't go on those were all money that I was planning on putting towards savings and this new medical debt that I had, but I can use them both and maybe some of this cow to get this balance back out. So these are again decisions I'm not going to make by myself because I have people I share this budget with. I'm not a single mom. I'm not a single person. I have a spouse. I have kids, and I want to go have a budget meeting. And I'm going to talk to my husband about what I want to do, what we want to do with this, how we overspent or under budgeted or under earned this past month? How are we going to make this balance right? It's an important part of the step. You know, if I hadn't have balanced this month out and closed this month out after this process, we wouldn't have known what the damage was. We would have just carried on, and then I would have bought this cow at the end of February, and then where would we have been? Because I wouldn't have had this money to balance this out, and then we could have been in big trouble. You know, we have savings and we would have been okay, but not everybody does. And then if I'd bought the cow and then in March or April, if I had gone on the spa day, you know, things just continue to get out of hand the more you close your eyes to what you're doing with your budget. You have to close out your budget. It's such an important step. So, having done this closeout now, and I'll have this budget meeting with my husband. It might affect what we have already done for February. So I'll bring this to my husband. We'll talk about it. And I'll bring up, so at the end of my February budget planning, we also had we were talking about what we wanted to do with our medical debt. Do we want to pay off our medical debt? Do we want to pay off extra on the house? Which one are we going to do first? I had a different idea than he did when we sat down to talk about it in our budget meeting. So you know, it's good to not do it alone. It's good to have somebody bounce it off of. So if you are alone, find an accountability partner, find a friend you can budget with, find a group of ladies. We have our budget babes. Every once a month at the end of the month, we all get together and budget together and we bounce these things off of each other and we have a text thread and we're always talking to each other. And it just makes budgeting a little bit easier and a little bit more supportive. So if you have found yourself in this situation, don't be afraid. Close out your budget. Call on a friend. Call on me. Just don't give up. You've got this.